If there's one recurring theme in my hardcore Minecraft series, it's my tendency to chop down trees without ever replanting them, making entire forests disappear in the process. I don't know why, but I get a boner every time I absolutely decimate a forest, then make a time-lapse out of it with centuries-old classical music playing in the background. And that's exactly what's going to happen in this video, except on a much, much larger scale. But before I could begin the deforestation process, I went on a few side quests that may or may not help me in achieving my primary objective. To start things off, I spent 4 hours at my gold farm, passively collecting golden XP from these dumbasses, while I watch one of the few Netflix originals that aren't complete dog shit. I got significantly richer in gold and surpassed level 500 for the first time. Next, I spent 4 hours at my stacking raid farm, slaughtering thousands of raid mobs with the smallest amount of effort possible. I got over 100,000 something emeralds, also got to level 600 for the first time, so that's neat. And to finish off the wealth accumulation, I spent 4 hours mining diamonds with the help of a 50-block wide tunnel bore machine. It ain't much, but it's hard and honest work. I needed more beacons for this project, so I went on a quick 4-hour AFK session at my wither skeleton farm. I let an auto clicker do the work for me while I did some other things like jerking off. I managed to obtain enough wither skulls to summon 164 withers, so I went to the proper arena in the end to ensure a fair fight between me and the wither boss. Yeah, fuck that. I don't have time to play fair. I have entire forests to obliterate, so I publicly executed all of them and got their nether stars, a required ingredient for beacons. Then I realized I also needed obsidian to craft the beacons, so I removed another obsidian pillar. I am never summoning the Ender Dragon again. One more side quest. It appeared that Planned Parenthood failed to do their one job, and now the villager population is out of control. I felt kind of bad for them, being cramped in that box for so long, so I decided to step in. I gave them jobs, gave them a nice working environment, and even gave them some playmates to keep them entertained. Aw, look at them playing tag together. Mob switch completed. I now have complete control over hostile mobs spawning in the nether, so a win-win situation overall. Okay, all side quests complete, now it's time for the main event. The goal of this project was simple: remove every single tree within a 1,000-block radius of my iron monolith and statue. To plan this entire operation, I screen capped the biomap of my seed on Chunkbase. Then I put the image on Desmos, yes, the same graphing calculator app that you may have used in a math class. Next, using this pair of equations, I graphed a circle with a radius of 1,000 that represents the boundary of the deforestation zone. To mark the deforestation zone boundary in the Minecraft world, I had to place 28 markers at 28 specific coordinates along its circumference. The markers are basically just max power quad beacons because why not? I didn't kill 164 withers for nothing. It took a while, but the beacon markers gave me a vague idea of where the deforestation zone ends. Now with that out of the way, it was time to build my large-scale deforestation kit. First item on the LSD kit is 27 diamond axes, each enchanted with Mending, Unbreaking 3, and Efficiency 5. So I took some of the diamonds I got from the mining session and crafted the axes. Nah, just kidding. I would have had to use 81 of my hard-earned diamonds. That's fucking stupid. Luckily, weaponsmith villagers will have diamond axes for sale when at master level. So that's what I did, and oh my god, what the fuck are these prices? Since I only had 200,000 emeralds to my name, this was unacceptable. So it was time for price negotiations. Now that is much better. So I bought 27 diamond axes, bought all of the required enchantments, then applied said enchantments to each axe. These 27 buffed up diamond axes are enough to mine almost 170,000 pieces of wood without breaking, which is perfect for this kind of operation. Then I did the exact same process for 27 diamond hoes so I can remove leaves instantly. Now those are the two main items in the LSD kit. Here are the rest of the useful tools in the kit that made my life easier. Flint and steel speeds up deforestation through arson. Scaffolding is useful for dealing with tall trees. Using a bed every hour or less prevents phantoms from spawning, and the mob switch prevents other hostile mobs from spawning. And I got a couple extra elytras just in case. With everything ready, it was time for the trees near my statue to meet their maker. All of them. Every single one. So, on day 1100, the deforestation project officially began. At this point, I've spent almost 24 hours chopping down trees. So far, I've collected over 70,000 wood blocks, fitting nicely into 41 shulker boxes. If you haven't guessed already, the red area on this map represents the areas that have been cleared of trees. After wiping out the birch forest near my statue, I went to various plains biomes within the deforestation zone, destroying the 4 or 5 trees that may be present there. Beaches don't have trees, so they'll be marked red as well. Oceans do have kelp forests, but I don't consider kelp as trees, at least for now, so the oceans are also considered clear of trees. Do you see where I'm going with this? I am not stopping until this becomes one solid red circle, when the nearest tree to my statue is at least 1,000 blocks away. Now on to my next victim. The dark forest was much tougher to destroy than birch forests. The foliage was much more dense and the trees were dummy thick. So to speed things up, I set the entire forest on fire, then it was business as usual. Not even the giant mushrooms were spared. It has been 100 Minecraft days since the carnage began, so for 33 hours straight, I had done nothing in this game except chopping down trees. Now you may be wondering, how does one endure doing the same thing over and over again for hours on end? That's easy, I just have something playing in the background. I listen to my entire Spotify playlist containing over 120 songs, but that only lasted 7 hours, so I listened to various commentary/documentary style videos on YouTube, sometimes multiple times. I've listened to internet historian's Costa Concordia video more times than I care to admit. I've also listened to his No Man's Sky video no less than 6 times, up to the end where he read an erotic fanfiction about the protagonist getting passionately fucked by the game's lead developer Sean Murray, so that kept me up at night. Anyway, by day 1200, I've obtained 54 shulker boxes filled to the brim with 93,312 wood blocks. After that, I ravaged the 2 savanna biomes very quickly because of their very low tree density. Then I eradicated the last of the forest biomes. Good fucking riddance. And this is the part where progress slowed down significantly, because by day 1209 there were only 2 unique arboreal biomes left, the jungle and the mangrove swamp, and they are the hardest ones to destroy. Unlike birch forests with relatively small trees, or savannas with very few trees, jungles and mangrove swamps are both densely populated by some of the largest and tallest trees in the entire game. I decided to take on the mangrove swamps first, which was no doubt the most time-consuming. Removing a single mangrove tree by hand was really tedious because of its structure, so I tried the arson method of deforestation that I used on the dark forest, but for some fucking reason, fire in this biome burns out really quickly, leaving a ton of floating blocks in the air, making the process even more tedious. So as a result, it took me over 2 hours just to wipe out this tiny enclave of mangrove trees. Now it was time to take on the much larger mangrove swamp. First I tried using the standard deforestation method, but after 2 hours I hardly made a dent in this fucking biome. So I needed a different approach. Fire wouldn't work either because it would leave too much floating debris, so it was time for the final solution to the arboreal problem. First I built a dirt platform high up in the air, roughly taking up the shape of the mangrove swamp. Then I built a very long row of TNT bombers, stretching from the westernmost side of the biome to the easternmost side. Now I'm all about preserving the environment, so the bombers are built high enough so that the TNT explodes in mid-air, destroying much of the trees without causing too much damage to the land itself. Once the bombers have completed their run, any surviving arboreal material is promptly removed. Alright, enough talking. It is time to carry out the final solution. As you can see, the mangrove swamp is the undisputed king of deforestation resistance. It took almost 23 hours of bombings, arson, and old-fashioned wood chopping just to destroy this biome. Despite its size, I only got 5 shulker boxes of mangrove wood because most of it was located in the canopies that were obliterated by the bombers, and I didn't really give a shit about the mangrove roots, so I just collected 4 shulker boxes worth and let the rest despawn. On day 1100, the deforestation progress map looked like this. And over the course of 190 Minecraft days, the map slowly transformed into this, with only 2 holdouts left. One whole jungle, sparse jungle combo here, and a small part of a larger jungle here on the edge of the deforestation zone, like a little piece of shit clinging onto the rim of my asshole. Unlike the mangrove swamp removal that required some heavy-duty deforestation tools, jungle removal just involved the standard method reinforced with the arson method. Time to get rid of these trees once and for all. After 231 days, the deforestation project finally concluded. I acquired over 140,000 blocks of wood, a large amount of that being birch. This supply should last me a fairly long time. Yeah, I could have just built a super efficient tree farm from a YouTube video, but there's just something so satisfying about witnessing the complete absence of trees in a biome that normally has them. There's something so satisfying about having to crank your render distance to 64 chunks just to be able to see the nearest tree. Oh yeah, the new Minecraft update is coming around the corner, and they're adding a brand new biome with a new type of tree. So I'm gonna have an absolute field day ravaging that as well.